This week's Parsha, Parashat Acharei Mot, describes the power of the land of Israel, its purity, and its connection to God and the Jewish people. While the Torah introduces the forbidden relationships with a statement that when the Jews enter the land of Israel, they have to be very careful not to adopt the behaviors of the Egyptians, the land from which they came from, as well as to be careful not to learn from the behaviors of the Canaanites, the nations who currently dwell in the land of Israel. Both of them behave in immoral fashions, and the Jewish people have to live by a different creed. And the Torah, after delineating these relationships, tells us, if you engage in these behaviors, vatitma haaretz, you will contaminate the land. This contaminated land will be affected by the activities that are done within it. And therefore, vitaki haaretz, the land will spit out all those who misbehave in it. And the Torah goes on to describe what the Ramban describes in his powerful commentary on these verses, where he tells us that even though these behaviors are prohibited throughout the entire world, in the land of Israel this is different. And the reason is, as a mashal I heard many years ago from Rav Mordechai Cohen, who described that if somebody is told by their parents, not to play ball in the house, and the child plays in the bathroom or in the laundry room, or in a place that is not so central to the house, the parents might get a little upset. But chances are they will not get nearly upset as if the child plays ball in the living room itself, especially right next to the chandelier or the fancy things. Explains the Ramban, the land of Israel is God's living room. He lives throughout the world, he's there. But the Shekhinah, the ability to connect to God, is completely different in the land of Israel. It is Nachalat Hashem. It is the place of God. And therefore, we have to be held to a different standard of behavior there. And therefore, in this description, the Ramban tells us the power of the land of Israel. And this is not new for the Ramban. This appears in the Ramban throughout his commentary, and especially all the way from the beginning of Bereshit, where he describes that God created the world. And part of that was to give the land of Israel, the most precious land in the entire world, to who deserves it. And that is the nation of Israel, when we are behaving at our best. This message is true at all times. However, it has a specific level of urgency in the time we live in. We live at a time right now, Parashat Acharei Mot, we're reading during the Omer, during a period where on the one hand we're supposed to be celebrating the time where the Jewish people are counting from the leaving of Egypt to the receiving of the Torah. However, this time of happiness is dampened because the students of Rabbi Akiva, individuals who fought the battle in order to bring Mashiach, in order to bring about the ultimate redemption, there was something missing in their behavior. Lo nahagu kavod ze lezeh, tells us the Gemara in Yevamot. They did not act with utmost respect to one another. And therefore, the redemption was not at hand during that time. This message is not only true in the past, but we find ourselves now at a time where the Jewish state is defending itself for its very existence, where Jews throughout the world are feeling the brunt of anti-Semitism in ways that many of them never felt before. It's at these points where we remind ourselves, number one, of the centrality of the land of Israel, of the beauty of the land, of the connection of the land. But we also remind ourselves how important it is for us not just to live in the land, but to live in the land as God wants us to live. Because God doesn't want the land to spit us out, but to welcome us with open arms. And as I look at the view behind me, and I see a land which was desolate for 2,000 years when the Jews did not rest here, as Mark Twain testified, and then upon the Jewish return, the land comes to itself. It starts growing, and it starts becoming the agricultural paradise that it is to this very day. In this backdrop, we can remind ourselves that this land of Israel, which is destined for us and remained faithful to us throughout all our years, where we were spit out of the land, we hope to never be spit out again. And we hope to be able to live in this land with the purity and conscience which God so very much wants us to. Have a wonderful Shabbat.